Mashiane Politically Incorrect, I'm actually very happy that Breitenbach seems to be the only one in this committee who has made sure that she puts every pressure, reasonable pressure, on Mkhwanazi. What irritates me about Mkhwanazi is he'll be asked the question and they would give him 10 to 15 minutes for him to answer, and he would still not answer what has been asked. He will do this deliberately because he wants to stay there as far as possible. And I'm very happy. Of course, Julius Malema performed well, but this time I just want you to concentrate on Breitenbach of the DA. So I want you to understand that he even stops him and says, no, this is not what I've asked you, this is what I've asked you. And I think that is very important, that every parliamentarian should do. And I think the problem that we are having with this is because we as African people, we've got problems of ageism. Because if someone is very senior to you in age, you seem to respect. And number two, because of political alignment, because these people are the executive, they wield a lot of power in government, of course. And there's a certain respect and certain decorum offered to you because you are my senior. But I'm happy Breitenbach did not do that. You would see everyone, just about everyone, seems to be giving him that kind of respect. Of course, exceptions is MK. Mashiane Politicallyincorrect, just sit there and watch and enjoy each other.
And good afternoon, Honourable Minister. So, Mr. Mkhwanazi, I'm really struggling to understand what all this fuss is about. None of this information is new. I put this to General Masemola as well. None of this is new. We've all known about corruption in the police for years. 10 years, more, 14, 15 years. We know the police are corrupt, largely. We know they're very good policemen who go to work every day and do their very best. And we're very grateful for them. But we know that there's rife corruption in the police. Everyone knows. So this is nothing new. And the things mentioned by General Mkhwanazi at his press conference, while they're deeply concerning, are also nothing new. He packaged them in one afternoon, but they're nothing new. We've known all of that information has been around for ages. So what is this fuss about? Why the press conference? Why all of this? Can you tell me?
That's, thank you very much. That's exactly one of the intriguing questions that we have to grapple with, both internally in SAPS, but also in Parliament in general, in the whole public. That there are things that are refusing or resisting to change. For instance, there is a perception out there, I don't want to lie, that SAPS is corrupt, or there is corruption in SAPS. That is persisting. There's corruption in SAPS. The perception that says crime is not under control. And I've always said, yes, crime may not be under control or is not under control, neither is it out of control. But there's a concern there, running general. And I did, in my interactions with police, say there are the character of crime in the country is also featuring certain specific geographical areas in each province, known people or groupings of people, as an ongoing characterization of criminality in South Africa. And that I'm worried about that, and I don't think that we can't overcome that. But I would say it in response directly. On the side of crime and corruption, maybe pointed at, but within SAPS, let us wait until this ad hoc committee finishes its work or completes its work. until Madanga also completes their work, to have a full spectrum or a fuller spectrum of the extent of what we see now in reality. And I believe that we will see a particular extent, and we'll then be able to say, let's then apply our mind to say, what do we do with all of this in terms of extent and depth? But it's a concern. It's concerning. There's hardly a day you hear there's hardly a day that passes without you hearing of this corruption or not corruption, that omission or not, and so on. So if you're sharing a concern with me, I'm saying that I share that concern. And at some point, maybe this time around, we need to bring or minimize these concerns substantially. Otherwise, it can't be a permanent perception and a permanent feature that people have these problems and concerns around South African Police Service.
Thank you, Minister. Well, you see, that's part of the problem. Part of what I'm asking you is really, why now? We've known about this for more than 10 years. I've known about it, you've known about it, everybody in this room has known about it. And only people who don't know about it are people who clearly live under a rock. And so it can't be the job of South Africans, can't be the job of this committee, it can't be the job of the Madlanga Commission to tell you, and in fairness, you're a new appointment, but you're the minister, you must take the heat, to tell you and the senior management of the South African Police how to deal with crime or what the problems are. Why don't you know it? Why does your management not know it? Why is there no discipline in the South African Police Service? Why is crime intelligence such an inordinate, absolute mess? And why hasn't it been fixed? We wouldn't be here if this had been addressed when it should have been addressed. And why hasn't it been? That's really my question.
Well, I believe that everything has its own time. Maybe we must agree as a country that it is time we all set about correcting the wrongs. Because the problem with asking an open question like that is that not only are we adults here, but we are leadership of the country or part of leadership of the country. If people get to know that we are asking what they are asking, they will lose confidence in us, and we shouldn't make it easy, and we should make it possible for people to lose confidence in us. This is Parliament, and there are other institutions. We may seemingly look like we are fighting here because there are questions and answers, but I want to believe that above it all, in the upper part of our brains, all of us here, we're concerned about our country. We want these wrongs to be corrected in a manner that is correct, so that at the end of the day, we have South African police that all of us are proud of. All of us are proud of, and I believe that it is possible. It can be done. We just need inner resolve. We need to do things differently. And I believe that part of what I tried to do up until getting to leave, we're trying to grapple with some of the root causes and the root problems in SAPS instead of just accepting what is there. We set ourselves a target to say, let's change this. This is changeable. For instance, even though, crimes like are being perpetuated in the 4 provinces are in part a reflection of the problems that the country is undergoing via suppressed economic growth or slow economic growth, and therefore people turning this and that. But the majority of the people in South Africa are law-abiding. They are good people, even as unemployed as that.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Minister. I've got limited time.
Just Just a moment, Honorable Breitenbach. If when you speak, on the screen we see there is a tag behind you which is giving you a spirited competition. There is a tag behind you to your left.
Everybody knows what party I'm from. I have no difficulty with the tag behind me. Yeah. If anyone thinks I'm from Al Jamar, then they're also living under a
You
rock.
can proceed. I just wanted to bring it to your attention, and if you are comfortable with it, it's
I'm very comfortable. Everybody in the whole world knows I'm not from Al Jamar, nor will I ever be. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Minister. I have limited time. And so I don't want to enter into a discussion with you. Maybe at another time it would be interesting, but today I want you to answer my questions, please. And I want you to do so concisely.
Okay.
So please listen to the question and answer the question, and only the question. We can have a discussion at another time. I'd be very happy to do that.
Okay.
So I want to know from you why the South African police is in the state it's in. No discipline, no authority, generally speaking. I'm not disputing that there are policemen who do their job. There are. I'm not disputing that the majority of policemen are quite likely good, honest people who go to work every day and do their best. But generally speaking, there's a serious problem with corruption in the police. There's a serious problem with a lack of discipline. There's a serious problem with lack of authority, and crime intelligence can only be described as an unmitigated mess. And I want to know why this hasn't been addressed in the last decade and a bit. I don't want to know about how we all feel. I think we all know how we all feel. And I just want to tell you that if you think most South Africans have got confidence in the South African Police Service, you're wrong. And if you think most South Africans think crime is under control, you're wrong.
Well, I don't have a straight answer why it has been like this for the number of years that you're talking about. What I know and what I'm determined to do is to play my role in what I share in part or wholly with you, that there are concerning matters within SAPS and they need to be addressed, and they need to be addressed soonest without any delay. That I regard as my answer, and that it requires a lot of determination to do that.
What have you done since your appointment to do it?
Pardon?
What have you done since your appointment to achieve that?
Now, the first thing, or part of what we have done, is to insist that this is an organization, and it has the trust among the people in terms of its responsibility, whether it is performed or not. But people look at it as a solution to a lot of their problems on crime. And two of the things that I believe stand out in what we've done, we felt that SAPS require a kind of a workshop that we held so that we can look at some of the conditions of work, because if people are frustrated, if people are not answered, are not responded to on this and that, they won't behave and they won't perform. We did that. And my impression was that people recognize that, and they are prepared to pick up right from the systems at police stations to other things that would make them enjoy their work while they are at work in all manner of things. We then called the summit to endorse that, and we've begun to implement that since we got appointed. We have gone to districts with an insistence that a police station must be regarded as something very important. And we were on our way to doing so, because my sense was that we don't have a high regard in terms of the value of a police station, other than just generalizing.
You're starting to have a discussion again. Please stick to the question.
Pardon?
You're starting to have a discussion again. Please stick to the question. And
Yes.
when you say, refer to we, are you referring to yourself? Are you using the royal we? Or
Yes.
is it just you?
Yes, I'm referring to us as ministry and top management.
I see. Okay.
So those are some of the things that we've started doing and emphasizing. That let's do the work, let's make sure that all the units are able to do their work, and then we restructure. We're in the process of restructure. I was quite happy with the outcome of our engagement. Like I said, the creation of a new division, like I said, the implementation of the new structure was promising to me, because those were practical things that you realize, if implemented, would be able to deal with some of the problems that we have. Because at the center of everything is when people feel safer and safer, instead of them feeling more and more vulnerable, which I believe was a trend that we needed to cut.
You said earlier today that you have the telephone number of Mr. Brown Mkhwanazi on your telephone.
That I have the cell phone number, yes.
Why?
It's because I've known him from 2017, and I've been using that number.
Why have you known him since 2017? And what do you use the number for?
Why didn't I?
Why have you known him since 2017, and what do you use the number for?
No, we're just talking.
About what?
Look, let me explain, Brown Mkhwanazi. To me, there are more and more things that are coming out that I didn't know about Brown Mkhwanazi. I knew him just like I got to know you. Nothing else. Just know you as a member of parliament. Then we go on. And then in the course of time, especially recently, I got to know things that I never got to know when there were no current problems. And which then put that question to say, so why would Brown say he's at Lusisi with me and create that impression when it's not? Why would he take a posture that whatever he says to other third parties, it is because he has had a discussion with me and so on?
Minister, that's not what I asked you. You must please listen more carefully to the questions, and it will get done so much more quickly. I asked, what do you talk to him about? Why do you need to use his cell phone number? Not about what he says about you. I'm not interested in what he says about you.
That is part of my answer. That's part of my answer. But I can go on to say, we speak about ANC-related matters with him. But I know he likes throwing a lot of other things that have nothing to do with the ANC. That's when I normally don't answer him, or all the time don't answer him.
Okay. And you communicate with him on Signal, you said, amongst other things. WhatsApp and Signal.
That I do what?
You communicate with him on WhatsApp and Signal, you said.
Yes, because he said he has it and I have it.
Yes. So normally people communicate on Signal when they want to be sure that nobody else can read their correspondence. So what are you talking to him about that you're trying to hide?
Same matters, there's nothing more.
So this issue between General Mkhwanazi and yourself and Masemola and Sabia, this is just a factional battle in the South African Police Service. Is that what we must accept? It's a battle for power. The head of the Hawks position is becoming available, or is available. Masemola is due to retire soon. Is this a factional battle? Have we been called here to sit here for days and hours on end to deal with a factional battle in the South African police?
Well, what has happened, which I know, is that when I issued directives, my view is that General Mkhwanazi took a personal stand against what I did for his own reasons. That's why, among other things, even when General Kumalo and others got arrested, Chief of Staff told me that he sent a message that gloves are off. As far as I'm concerned, the earlier response to what I'd done was personal, very, very personal. He took matters personal rather than as a police officer who would then engage openly. That's why there would be things like if he's clean and so on and all of those things. And when General Kumalo gets arrested, he then say, Chief of Staff must inform me that that gloves are off now. So in my view, all that has happened, the trigger on these matters that we find ourselves on here, the trigger is the directives. That's the first trigger. The second trigger is the arrest, where General Mkhwanazi kind of take a personal posture into matters of subs, which are not necessarily his personal, is part of that.
Yes, of course, he's got a job to do. Do you think that you are entitled, in terms of the prevailing legislation, to give the directive that you gave? Do you think that as minister you have that authority? Or do you think that you've overstepped the mark?
I have not exceeded the mark. I would not have done that if I ever thought that I would be operating or may be operating outside legislation. I have never done so in the past. All my portfolios that I got deployed to.
It's fine, you've answered the question.
Yes.
Thank you. Did you discuss issuing this directive with Advocate Pikoli?
Yes, I did discuss with him. I didn't discuss him that I intend to. I said, here is the letter. This is what is contained here. Please comment. And he did comment, and then I proceeded.
What was his comment?
Well, his response was to correct certain matters. I can't remember this and that, but generally part of the comment was that you are within the law, you are within the Constitution. He did make that comment.
Fine. Now, General Masemola has taken exception to your directive. He ostensibly gives effect to it, but in fact, as you call it, the National Political Killings Task Team is still functioning, according to General Masemola. So he has, in fact, disobeyed you.
I can't get your question clearly.
General Masemola says that, A, he thinks that you can't give him this directive.
Oh, yes.
But he regards you as his boss, which I find horrific. And he will give effect to your instructions, but he has not done so. The task team has not been closed down. So what are you going to do about that?
Well, that took me aback. I was taken aback when National Commissioner spoke like that, because it means that it would have meant that, or it meant that on one hand he agreed, on the other he didn't agree. When he sent the letter from his office, or when his office sent the letter on the 3rd, when he made the presentation, when he wrote to me on the 22nd, when he made the presentation or okayed the presentation on the 5th and the 6th, what I understood him to be doing was that we were in agreement that we have to wrap. I had no other hidden side or feeling that, in fact, he was not, were not together on the matter. He had not done that before.
The question, Minister, was what are you going to do about it? This other long story is interesting, but it's inappropriate. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I'm on leave at the moment. And
the country is faced with what they regard as a national crisis. We're sitting here day in and day out, and you're on leave. The minister's on leave, and that's more important.
I didn't impose leave on myself. I am on leave. That is the fact of the matter.
Are you on special leave?
Yes, I'm on special leave. Thank you for that.
I see. So the hopes that we have of getting somewhere with this whole debacle, it's clear that we're not going to get anywhere with it.
That?
We're not going to get anywhere. The police are not going to be fixed. You're on leave, Masamara is on leave, Sabia is on suspension. That everyone's on leave or on holiday or suspended. And nothing's going to happen. And what must we do with all of this? The top structure of South African police are either on leave or in bed.
If I had my way, I wouldn't be on leave. I wouldn't even be here doing what I'm doing. I would be proceeding with the work that we're expected to do in subs so that people feel safer. So once these matters are aside, and the president decides on post these commissions, then we are awkward at the moment, and things are not the way they should be, like being on leave and so on. But as I say, my wish is that I was carrying on with the work, implementing the structure and fighting crime.
If we're going to be waiting for the president, Minister, then we all know that we're going to be waiting a very long time. But you talk about people feeling safe. I just want to tell you this, that this afternoon, there was a mass shooting in Westbury in Johannesburg. 2 people are dead, and many children were injured, some of them critically. Nobody feels safe. And how does that make you feel?
It's a sad matter to get those news. And in police in South Africa, together with ministry, I know that you grapple with issues on your conscience that had you done this, possibly, this would not have happened. And it haunts you all the time. And therefore, I feel sorry and sad for what you are putting across. But the main thing is the sooner we get over this, the better. And there are more other ugly incidents that have happened as well. And all of them, those that are said, we feel they are a letdown to the country.
Let me tell you what I think the problem is with the police, Minister, and then you can comment on it. When General Masemola was here, he is the only general in the South African Police Service. Everybody else is a Major General, Lieutenant General. He's the only general in the South African Police Service. He's the head of the South African Police Service. He walked out of the room we were sitting in at the Good Hope Chamber to go and chat to some of the police who were sitting around there. I don't know what they were doing. There seemed to be an inordinate amount of police sitting around not knowing what they're doing while everyone is here. He walked over to a group of policemen. I'm not sure what their ranks were, but they certainly weren't anything close to his. One was draped across a chair. One was sitting on the table. One was leaning against the wall. And when the only general in South African police approached them, not one of them even stood up straight, let alone came to attention. Now, what do you make of that lack of discipline, lack of authority? There was no reaction from General Masemola. He accepted their disrespect without even batting an eyelid.
Well, I listened to you when you were speaking to him about who is the boss and all of that. But what I felt was that there's no inclusion of boss in the constitution and all of that in the legislation, in the legislative framework. But this is to say, General Masemola is the only general, as you say. I agree with that, and he has authority, and that authority is there to be exercised, well, with the assistance of others, including ministry and so on. I believe that there's a lot to do to improve performance, quite a lot, and it can be done, because if it is not done, if this is the climax, if this is the best and this is the only thing, then it would mean that we do have a problem, or South Africa does have a problem. So there's room, from where I sit, to do quite a lot of improvements. And we have pointed some of those out to General Masemola.
You mentioned, it may have been yesterday, all these days morph into one, it feels like a lifetime, about a particular clip on the tape that you referred to that demonstrated that you were in fact threatened. Now, you haven't been able to produce that. Why not?
No, I have explained. You may take, you may not take the explanation. General Mkhwanazi had a conversation with Chief of Staff on the 2nd of January. And one of the things they spoke about was to say that if Minister is clean while he was Premier and so on, so he can go on with the directives.
I know what he said. I want to know why you can't identify where it is on the tape so that we can hear it.
No, at that time, he had not started recording. He only started when they continued with the conversation in other days, like on the 3rd, on the 4th, and on the 5th, but not on the 2nd.
Thank you, Chair. I'm done.
There is something that you must clarify, Honorable Minister, because you now say that at the time the recording happened, the part that the Honorable Member Breitenbach is asking you about was not recorded. And on Friday, you made us to play that record and say on the record there is a part that you want us to hear. Which statement do we take? Do we go back to our statement that the extract that you wanted us to hear is not there? Can we just bury it like that to say the extract that you wanted us to hear is not there, so that we stop making reference to this evidence which has not appeared before us? Can we just bury it that way?
Yeah, it is not there.
Thank you so much. Honorable Nomvalo.
No, just a follow-up question, Chair, on that question that we have just asked. When did the Minister learn that it's not there? When did he learn that the part that we advised him to bring today is not there? Did you learn after you made a promise to the committee that you will bring it? And if you learned after, does that mean you were misled? You were made to understand that it is there?
I only got to know that it is not there after. Now, whether you were misled or not...
No, Minister, let's leave it there. The extract in question, if there was an intention that it must form part of the documents presented or the materials presented before the committee, unfortunately, it cannot be because it is not available. And in this way, I think, like, it's your statement that let's bury the matter. That evidence is not before the committee. Is that adequate?
Chair, I would say now it is adequate and it will come. Somebody will ask a question and I'll need to explain, as I did last time, that that evidence is not there except in reference.
Thank you.
That's all.
Yeah. I see Honorable Malema, Honorable Samgwini, do you still want to speak? Let me take Honorable Malema and then you will be the last, Honorable Samgwini.
No, Chair. We have to close it properly if you are saying we're going to close this part. The Minister either must accept that he was misleading the House, or he honestly thought that thing was there. That's why he committed that in the next... I'm the one who said, in the next meeting, just come with that part. And he said, no problem, we'll come with it. But how do you say you will come with a part you never had? Because he was making us to play something he never had. So had we not insisted on that part being brought, this house would have been misled. Either he was doing it deliberately, and if he was not doing it deliberately, he has to apologize to the people of South Africa, who sat in anticipation that a minister who has taken an oath, and even not just an oath, also took an oath in this house to tell nothing else but the truth. If he made a mistake, he must say to the people of South Africa, I apologize, I made an error of judgment, it's not there, this issue is not there. Unless he was deliberately misleading us. But if you have made an honest mistake, you have to apologize. And I insist that he has to apologize if he made an honest mistake. People have left what they were doing, waiting to come and hear a part where a general is threatening a minister. That's not a serious, it's not a simple allegation to be made and just leave it like that. That allegation was made, now there is an acceptance, there is no evidence to that effect. I was actually misled and I therefore apologize. That is what we insist on, Honorable Chair, for this matter to be closed.
Thank you, Honorable Sangon.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I think mine was going to be to seek clarity from the Minister on what is not there. So is it the recording that the Minister says is not there, or is it the threat that the Minister says is not there? And Chair, I'm asking this because I don't want us to leave here with an impression that the Minister has withdrawn his testimony that General Mkhwanazi threatened him, if that is not what the Minister is doing. So if we can just separate the two things. And then secondly, I also want us to be consistent, Chair. There's a lot of things that people came here and they have said, and we did not demand evidence of it in recordings or any other format. Now, the unfortunate part is that the Minister volunteered a recording, which is now the issue. We've been listening to people talking about Tupac songs and sending this and sending that, and we never demanded recordings of those issues. So I want us to be fair to the Minister. Now, if we can get clarity, that is the Minister withdrawing his testimony that he was threatened by General Mkhwanazi, which is different from the recording is not there. And that's a different matter that I think we can close. Thank you very much, Chair.
Honorable Shongwe.
No, Chair. Partially, I disagree, Chair. I think, Chair, borrowing from the words of Ubabu General Usbeya, ukuthi Mkhwanazi ukhuluma into angayazi, is the chance ukuthi uMinister ukhuluma into angayazi makathi kukhona i-voice note. And when you say kukhona i-voice note, ukhuluma ngento elalelile wayizwa ukuthi ngizwile i-voice note. So I don't think it will be acceptable kimi for Minister to say, I withdraw, I wasn't sure ukuthi ikhona or ayikho. He must speak into iqiniso la ukuthi ube izwile yini or ukhuluma into engekho ayicabangile. And number two, what does it say ngecredibility yakababa uNkabinde? What if uNkabinde umtafulile umshayashayile lapho, Chair? So I think asingayenzi belula, Chair, and sisebenze ngo-withdraw, I withdraw that. No. Akavuma ukuthi ngiqamba amanga la. Chair, what's the right word for amanga? Parliamentary word? For lying. Misleading.
Inaccurate.
The accurate word for parliamentary word?
Inaccurate.
Oh, I engage the sentence. But again, Chair, just that one. Ukuthi uMinister must be on record saying bengikhuluma into engekho. Because if uthi khona record, uyalazi ulizwile, Chair. Thank you.
Okay.
On a point of order, Chair. We're not asking you questions. We're sitting on the topic you are talking about. And the topic is the recording. It's not whether the Minister is withdrawing the threat or not. So once you are on this point of recording and then you say you Minister must, you're introducing a new subject. We are saying Minister committed to bring a recording. Minister didn't commit to bring whether he's being threatened or not. He promised to bring a recording and the recording is not there. That's what the topic. That's what Honorable Glynnis was asking about, and that's what we are following up on the recording.
No, let me remind you, honorable members, this is what happened on Friday when the recording was played. The Honorable Minister placed a statement that there is a part that is missing in the recording. And so he would have wanted us to hear that part. And so the minister made a commitment that the part will be made available. And when we resumed this morning, we gave a report that we have made a follow-up through our secretariat with the minister and his team. And the extract that he himself would have wanted us to hear is not there on that recording. And during the proceedings, the minister have admitted that that part is not there. And that is why my view is that we must desist from asking him questions on that evidence, because we will not get it. It is not there. He has confirmed before this committee. And the part that Honorable Member Malema is saying is that, Honorable Minister, because you made a commitment, you might have made an honest mistake that you committed to bring that extract, hoping that you will have it readily available. And it's not something that you can be crucified for. If that thing is not available, you just say, look, I was under impression that it is available, and it is not available, and for that I want to apologize. Then we bury the matter. You don't appear before this committee as a suspect. You appear before this committee as a citizen who will help us to deal with whatever difficulties we are facing in the South African police services. And I think that is how we should proceed. If that extract is not available and you honestly believe that it will be there, it is not there. Where I come from, Baro Posho, it's a Mayalamakatish, you know, when you operate a machine, you may end up making a mistake, because the machine is not a human being. Once you press on, the machine will run. It will not say to you, but you want me to make a mistake.
Point of order, Chair. Kahle, Chair. Please, Chair, siyacela. Mo tswang teng. Ba o botsa straight hore ntho e bolelang a iyo. Minister o itse ikhona I voice note. There's a part I want you to hear which I don't get now. If it was a song, you would say this song iqala la khona la imnandi khona. I told you that part. He said it that way, sir. He didn't say, I'm not sure whether it was a voice note or they told me. Said in this voice note, there's a part I want you to hear. So, and Chair, again, under oath, he said that, under oath. It's not a soft thing that you can just downplay as if, no, here, you're not coming as a victim or suspect or what. Chair. Whatever he says here is under oath. Lache, ama South Africans alalela. Exila manunu abono babu pegicel. Ama South Africans. So let's not downplay it, Chair. Uthe ubabi khona. Sicela leyo voice note or asitshela ukuthi kanqamba manga. Sidlule. Simple as that.
Honorable Skosana.
Ngithokoze Mgcinisihlalo. Ngibawa ukuthi nami ngifake lami lokuthi ungqongqotshe uye watsho ukuthi kunento nasiya ngaphakathi inunu le ebefanele silalele mara into le ingaphela lula njengoba umlingani ayithomile ngapha Honorable Malema, he asked a simple question ukuthi indaba le ayikwazi ukuthi ingafelela angakavuma ukuthi bekaleya mhlambe bekasimslidile axolise ngokomthetho ngoba is under oath as I said earlier ukuthi akhumbule ukuthi under oath mara singaphumi la singanagama elazekelayo ukuthi uyasalaranisa nje asazi ukuthi sikuphi akafuna ukuvuma mara ke ukuxolisa ngicabanga ukuthi kungaba into ekarako ingasikari into leyo ukuthi use man uthi Mathela Bambalala ngiyabawa ukuthi man ngenza iphoso kukuleya indaba yokuthi into le ikhona yokuthi ngithuselwe ngoba indaba yokuthuselwa silalele sonke la ayikho.
Yeah, no, honorable member. We may be saying one thing in many ways. It's for the minister. You know, the request that has been made by the honorable member is for the minister to say if he made an honest mistake or he has not made a mistake. It's not a matter for us to debate. If he made a mistake, he will say it here to say, look, that was a mistake. I apologize. Or it was not a mistake. It's just that I can't find the evidence, but I have it and I won't apologize for that. So let's give him a chance so that we deal with the matter once and for all. Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Chair. I believe I made an honest mistake. I was under the impression that that part that I spoke about was actually there, and it was part of what was sent here. Then I make follow-up after making an undertaking, and it becomes clear that no, recording had not started when this part was discussed among them. And therefore, I made that mistake and I apologize.
Thank you so much. That is acceptable, Minister, and there is nothing that will take any quality away from you. Thank you so much.
You haven't addressed my question.
Oh, yes.
The question that
And
I had
the second question that
Yes.
you
I understand
you
the
raised,
mistake
Honorable
about the
Member.
recording, Chair.
Yeah, let
right?
me allow you to restate it.
Thank you. I understand the mistake about the recording, which I think the apology from the minister is accepted. But I just want to confirm whether the minister is therefore withdrawing the fact that there were threats that were made to him.
On a point of order, Chair. On a point
My
of order.
question, why would there be a point
No,
of order?
on a point of
question?
order.
No, it's fine. Let's
Chair,
take the point
Chair,
of order.
we are taking rotation here. The ANC will have its own chance. All of us, we spoke on a point that was raised by honorable member. As a follow-up or we're seeking clarity on that point, which was raised during the DA's 10. It's still the DA's 10. So when you now leave the DA's question and come up with something else, you are allocating ANC an extra time on this question. They are still going to have chance to ask questions.
No, I'm going back to the DA.
No, Chair, but Honorable Malema is out of order. He's been seeking clarity. I'm seeking clarity.
Honorable
On the same matter.
Honorable Sangun, let's do it this way. You have asked a question, isn't it? And we must give the minister a chance to respond to the question. That point of order, honorable member, is not sustained. Minister, did you hear the question? The two questions are based on